We got our couple second delay. So
Okay.
what's up? What's up? What's up? This is Buck. This is Justin. I am the person that runs Tattoos and Review. This is Justin, who is a tattoo artist from Endsville Tattoo.
And we are two fat guys in a tattoo shop.
There you go. We are here today. Pretty tired. We had a pretty busy day today. It was pretty cool, man. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. And, we'll go from there. We'll just wait for a couple more people to jump on board and before we really get rolling, and we'll go from there. So if you're here and you're watching right now, make sure you say something in chat so we know you're here. Say hello. Say what's up. And we'll go from there. So just want to wait and see if we get a couple more people on before we start rolling. And for you people that are here, we appreciate it. We appreciate that you jumped on and checked it out. And don't be afraid to say hello in chat. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We actually have notes today. So this way we are, a little bit more organized compared to the previous week or two. Hopefully we don't have any issues with technical stuff, but hey, shit happens, right? What are you gonna do? So we'll just wait a couple more minutes and we'll see what's up and we'll get rolling. We want to just see if there's anybody that if you're out there in the world watching us right now, make sure you say hello in chat so this way we know you're out there and we know we're not talking to ourselves, because we got some cool stuff to talk about, and I want to make sure we have people on board before we start diving into it. Pretty stoked, man. My episode this week for the Coney Island tattooers before the ban. A lot of cool work went into that, a lot of cool research, and I'm pretty stoked. It's doing pretty decent. Not lighting the world on fire yet, but hey. So anybody's out there watching, make sure you jump in and say what's up. We want to know that you're out there. And we're going to get rolling here any second. I just wanted to give a few minutes before we jumped in and started diving into some stuff. And then we'll jump on in. So if you're out there, say what's up before we get rolling, please. Appreciate it. I'm going to actually turn my phone on to the stream itself, just so this way if I got any issues or whatever, I see what's going on. What's up, Nikki? Thank you for jumping in. Appreciate it. Anybody else out there wants to say what's up, man, please do so before we start rolling. Justin and I had a pretty long day today. We jumped in the car and went down to Asbury Park, New Jersey to hang out with Mike Schwaggart, Richie Montgomery, Shane, I forget Shane's last name.
So do I. Shane.
Yeah. Anyway.
Thanks to all the guys at Electric Tattoo, all the artists, the people that were there from the various shops. Shane and Richie were doing some classic tattooing. Shane was promoting his new books. He's from California. He's on the East Coast for the next couple days, and talking about machines and lived history.
Right.
Not read about history, which but lived history. The people that he came up with, the people that he knew. It's really, really interesting.
For sure, man. And he does have Instagram page. He's got a couple books out. Just found out that he actually has Gary, thank you for stopping by, man. Much appreciated.
Now it's one fat guy in the tattoo shop.
Yeah, now it's just one fat guy by myself. So, so if you're in chat, jump in, say what's up. Tell us you're out there, man. Let us know you're listening, so this way we know, we got people out there. Shane Enholm. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you. He is an artist from the San Francisco area who has been
LA.
or LA.
LA, yes.
So he's been working on some stuff, trying to get some publicity to his books. But the cool thing about it is he's a tattoo artist and he's been around for a long time. He's really got some awesome stories for history and stuff like that, which is pretty cool, man. We had a really cool discussion with him. We had a really cool discussion with Richie Montgomery. We also talked to Mike Schwaggart for a while today. And then we also sat and talked to a couple of different tattoo artists that were there to hang out and have a good time. So thank you to Mike Schwaggart. His crew was awesome. And, it's always nice to meet good contacts for the history part of it, right? I mean, there was a discussion that went around today. And look, I'm not trying to be the end all to be all for the history part of it. I'm just trying to be the vehicle to bring it out to the public. I do the best I can to make sure that we have the right, accurate information. And if I feel like it's not accurate or if I don't know, I'm going to say so. Because that's just the way I am. I'm not going to bullshit anybody or sugarcoat it, man. If it's not accurate, I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm not going to bring it up. So, and it was nice to hear from those guys who I respect a lot saying that, they felt like I was doing a pretty good job of that. So much appreciated. So we got some cool topics today, right? I mean,
one thing that was interesting when we were talking to a couple guys there today is about the lack of documentation and the fact that there's a lot of missing history that really you sort of depend on the stories that people tell. It's not like today where everything is documented on social media, and you have to, we were talking about taking that into consideration when you're listening to three tattooers tell the same story about the shop that they all came up in. You're going to get three different stories. Not
right.
that any of them are, not that any of them are particularly lying or anything. They just have different perspectives.
Yeah, well, right. So I guess in essence, really, the conversation we had with Shane at the end was like, unless you hear it exactly from the person's mouth, you're going to get some distorted truth, right? But again, I'm not going to go I'm not going to go out of my way to tell a bullshit story or sugarcoat something just to get views, man. I'm going to make sure that I'm at least putting out accurate stuff.
Absolutely.
And, here's the thing. I think there's enough misinformation out there that I don't need to be adding to it. I get people all the time that hit me up on comments and talk about it. And, they'll ask about, hey, can we do this? Can we do, can you do an episode on this person? And I'm like, absolutely, man. If I can get the data I need, the information I need on that person, I will do it, man. No doubt about it. But if I can't get enough good information and enough solid information, I'm not going to do it because I just don't want to put out bad stuff. So,
yeah, we were talking about that it's okay to say we don't know the full story, but we're, some people involved in tattoo history just kind of make it up.
Yeah.
Because they're afraid to say, like the way that you do,
I don't know.
This is the best I could find, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, but you know what, dude? I didn't set out to be the authority of the history of tattooing.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't set out to be the encyclopedia of tattooing, man. I mean, that wasn't what it was about, man. It was more about, like, starting out doing this with interviewing artists and getting the perceptions of the artists that are around. And then, throwing some stuff in here and there. But, I'm really digging the history stuff, and I think it's worthy of moving forward with. So we will keep doing that.
Talking to Mike today. So when I was first coming up as a tattooer, Mike was already pretty established. And I've reflected on this from my own time in tattooing. While a bunch of my friends were concentrating on going to conventions, I was concentrating on getting the respect of some of the old timers. Like, it seemed more important to me for a guy like Swagger to be like, yeah, that's Justin, he's a tattooer. You know what I mean? Versus getting an award. And I mean, in really, in retrospect, that was a little short-sighted. Maybe I should have had a different goal, but I'm still sort of like that. I want to, I would like to be acknowledged by people that I look up to versus acknowledged by people that are going to purchase a product, really. So,
right on.
It was good to talk to Mike today.
So you know what? I mean, that's a really good segue into what we wanted to do today, as far as bringing up, our first subject, which is like trying to be the people to bridge the gap between the old school tattoo artist and the newer tattoo artist. We want to try to open up a discussion, a dialogue between the old school guys and the newer artists, not really take a side, so to speak. Justin's going to have his opinions. I'm going to have my opinions, of course, but I'm not a tattoo artist. He is. So my opinion is kind of like, it's, I'm just an enthusiast. But, I think if we go into these conversations with some solid information and solid data, we could probably have a decent discussion. And hopefully people in chat will actually stay stuff to, add to it or ask questions that it's, we can try to stop that.
Yeah, what's unique about this time in tattooing is that it's happening under such scrutiny. Like, this is not the first time that the landscape of tattooing has changed. I mean, there were the really old guys, like the Owen Jensens and the Burt Grimms and the Sailor Jerrys, and then that gave way to a new school of like Zeke Owen and Mike Malone and Don Hardy and the Coney Island guys, and then that gave way to Joe the Biker Tattooer down the street, and then that sort of gave way to the punk rock kids coming up out of the hardcore scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean, I think that with it, every era, there's going to be the pushback and the
a little friction.
Friction. There you go. Perfect.
A little friction.
Like you said, I mean, going from like the guys from the 50s and 60s and, the guys that were coming in were like the dirty biker dudes. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure those guys were like, what are these dudes doing? You know what I mean? Sure, it didn't go over well.
So Don Hardy, who's the great granddaddy of modern tattooing, he wrote a book years ago about Sailor Jerry called Sailor Jerry, American Tattoo Master, I think was the name of it. And in that book, he talked about how if Jerry had known that he was a pot smoker, he never would have even spoke to him. Right? But because, they connected on the art piece, because, Don had gone to art school and Jerry respected that, there was a dialogue between the two of them. And that's just, that's just an example of a new guy in his relationship with an older guy. As to tattoo artists, you know what I mean? If Jerry if Jerry had not communicated with Don about Japanese tattooing, the face of tattooing would more than likely be changed now. Or Don at Hardy, is what I mean. So it's, we're lucky that some information was passed on.
Right. So as we dive into this, and if there are people out there in chat that want to talk about it, or you watch this later on and make a comment in the section, man, we're just going to ask that everybody be respectful. Let's not throw daggers at each other, and let's just try to be, constructive conversation. I think that you made a really valid point of, I think this day and age, it's different because I think social media
absolutely
is heightening the aggression between the two groups. I see it a lot because I spend a lot of time on social media trying to push the Tattoos and Review page. So I see a lot of it in, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter or whatever the hell it's called. And it's out there. We all know it's out there, right? But I think if we try to be, you know, nice and, I'm not saying we got to kid glove it, but let's be respectful and just talk about it.
I mean, and the thing with social media is that, I mean, the algorithm is designed to confirm bias.
Right. So it's going to point you to the people that you mostly associate with.
Right.
I get that.
It's going to look at your ideas, and it's going to show you more and more videos and more reels that confirm your particular bias. And I think there's a little bit of harm in that.
Right. So let's talk about some of these things that we're not going to obviously get to these today because we don't want this whole show to be about this, but we figured if we take a little swing at these each time we do this, it would help it out, right? So, I talked to you about this, talked to a couple other tattoo artists about this, and there was some commonality amongst things that were brought up, whereas somebody that's been in the industry for a while wished you knew as a younger tattoo artist. Now, some of these things are obviously just things that a normal 20-year-old doesn't think about. None of us do. I don't care what field you're in. Most 20-year-olds are not going to even think about this stuff. So this is more of a, hey, look, these are some advice things that, some of the old heads said that they would say, hey, look, if I was talking to a younger generation, this is stuff I would talk about.
So Mike Malone very famously said that one day you're going to wake up and you're going to need glasses because your eyes are going to be going, your hands are going to hurt, and your back is going to ache. And then you're going to realize that you're a tattooer, right? And I have to say, I do need these now. I did not need these when I started. And my hands do hurt. And, and when I was 20, I was not thinking about the physical effects of being a tattooer. I was just thinking about how much I wanted to tattoo. And then the other part of it too, Buck, is like there is no 401k. There is no health care. There is no stock sharing.
Right.
I mean, it's not a... If you crave certainty, right, which, I understand that people crave certainty, this might not be the business for you.
Right. So let's say, they're already in it and they're starting. And, I just want to say real quick, what's up to Gibby at Conquest Tattoo out there hanging out watching us today. Gibby, my man. So let's say they're already in it. Let's talk about that. And, Gibby, you're out there, man. So chime in, dude. We're talking about, advice we would give to the younger guys that are in the business. Trying to bridge the gap a little bit between the old school and the newer artist. But just socking money away for the slower times. It's not always going to be slammed with work. And I'm not saying dude, I'm horrible at saving money, but you guys are in a business of, cash when you get it and da-da-da-da-da. Like I have a normal 9 to 5 and I get a steady paycheck. But you guys have your ebbs and flows. So it's being smart about your money and socking the money away when you can. Right?
Right.
And then, you're talking about your general overall health of your body.
My complete lack of health. I was talking about.
I'm sorry. But
about my complete lack of health.
But these are things that were brought up with.
Were not even on the radar. Was not even a consideration until I was in my 40s.
Right. Scooch back a little bit because you took yourself right out of frame.
So senile and in ill health.
No, but so taking care of your back and your hands and all that stuff because, being hunched over and all that. Again, you're 20 something years old, dude. You're not thinking about that. But now you talk to a lot of these old timers that are tattooing still and they're their back's killing them. Their eyesight's going bad. Their hands are shot. You know, we're getting into that discussion in a second because we had a really good conversation today with somebody that's been around a long time. You know, next is, you know, just having health insurance, right? You know, a lot of shops don't have health insurance. A lot of tattoo artists don't have health insurance. Or if you do, you got to pay for it out of pocket. You know, 401ks, putting money away for the future, man. Like, there's a lot of times where you hear stories about old heads have to, you know, sell stuff or, you know, sell collections that they've had over years because now they're at the end of their game and they got to start selling off stuff because they didn't have any investments, they didn't put any money away, and they just kind of went nuts, man. And look, I think that would be for anybody out there that's younger, man. If I could turn back the hands of time and go, you know what, Buck? Let's be smart about your money. I would. Because I tell you what, you know, I don't want to be that guy that's 70 years old and still working, man. And I know it's coming. It sucks, but. So, there's a tattoo artist today. Yeah, so Gibby said, lots of ups and downs. I love tattooing more than anything, but it will make you sacrifice for it so often. There you go. There's a tattoo artist right there that's understands it. And, you know, there are a lot of ebbs and flows, man. So, there's a tattoo artist we talked to today. We're not going to bring up his name because I don't know if he wants us to necessarily attach his name to this, but he was talking about, you know, there was a doctor that does like physiology and stuff like that, and they said, you know, like if you were to stand with your arms to your side, your hand should be cupped at a natural position like that. You know what I mean? Like it's just, and he said that there's a lot of these, the newer artists that are using the big fat grips and their hands, you know, they're basically like that. And, you know, he said something that it made it stick in my head to the point where I wanted to bring it up today while we were talking about this. And he was like, dude, if your hand was meant to be like that in a writing position, they would make pencils and pens that size. So who's right and who's wrong? I don't know. But I thought it was a pretty valid comment that he brought up.
So when I was tattooing for a couple of years, they came out with a thing called the Red Rats, and the Red Rats were heavy rubber grip covers that were autoclavable, and they cut down on the vibration of the metal tube.
Okay.
And without a doubt, my use of Red Rats has prolonged the life of my hands by years. Like the fact that I didn't just handle the machine with the metal tube. And that's not something I would have thought of at the time, but it's something that I thought of a little later on.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, look, you know, anybody's out there in chat right now that's listening, wants to ask some questions, whether it be from a creator perspective or any of the episodes I did, or you want to talk to Justin, Gibby from Conquest is in here. You want to ask a question for a tattoo artist, feel free to jump in and say something in chat. You know, there's plenty of people on right now or in chat that can actually answer maybe some of your questions. So feel free to do that. I'll welcome you to the show. For anybody in that's just jumping in right now, I'm Buck. This is Justin. We're trying to talk about bridging the gap and having some constructive conversations between old school artists and the newer tattoo artists. And, you know, one of the other things that we'll talk about today, and then we'll leave the rest for another time, so this way we're not like hogging the whole show about this, but the misconception, or actually it might not be a misconception, it could be there are people out there that are doing this, but that shop owners bring in artists to just make money off of them. So I had read a comment just recently where somebody had said, the only time you really should be bringing in another artist is if your workflow is overflowing to the point where you can't keep up and you need to bring in help, then that's when you should be bringing in another artist. Now, we could talk about the percentages and all that, but I think we'll do that at another time. But that being said, there was the discussion about, like, if a new artist comes in, they should have a clientele list and this and that and da da da. Well, the one person said, hey, well, if you're overflowing and you don't, whatever, you can't keep up with your work, why should the person have a clientele? So I'm not asking you directly. I'm saying it as a statement. I've heard replies or seen replies where people were like, hey, look, you have to have a clientele list because A, you're going to need those clientele for the downtimes when there's people not necessarily flowing into the shop, because shops do ebb and flow. So if you have clientele, you could reach out, or they could say, hey, we'll book during this time or whatever. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So I think some of that is also that's happening, or that's an ask, because then it proves that you're able to promote yourself as an artist. Because let's face it, promotion right now in tattooing is a huge part of this. And promoting yourself on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. So, thoughts? Don't want to touch that subject?
So everybody asks why I primarily work alone. And the reason that I work alone is because I don't have to turn work away. You know, it's a volume walk-in shop. I mean, I do tattoo my friends, and sometimes I tattoo people that walk in with styles that I really prefer, that I'm, enjoy more. But as long as I am not turning work away, I agree. I don't need a second guy. And the thing with the clientele is, if I bring someone in and they don't have an existing clientele, then I'm shooting myself in the foot, because I'm giving away some of my money. And I understand, because when I was working for another guy, all that I saw, like, I've owned my own shop. This is the second shop I owned. I've owned shops for the past 21 years. And I understand that when I was coming up, I was handing envelopes of money to a guy, right? But I didn't understand about insurance and rent and supplies and licenses and advertising. I didn't understand about all those extra costs, and I didn't understand about the stress of when you're the...
Hold on 1 second. So unfortunately, we live in the Bucks County area, which has been on the news quite frequently over the past month. More importantly, I guess yesterday made national news. So we have police and EMT on occasion that'll go by and interrupt our live stream. Go ahead.
So, in talking to my other friends that own businesses, right? Like, I have a friend in particular who's a contractor. He's got 3 guys that work for him. And he says, you got to understand that I don't make $1 till they get paid. Right? And we talk about, like, the stress of it. When you're the final line, when you're the one that doesn't get to go to your boss and say, well, this happened, because you are the boss, because you are the point of accountability. It's there's a stress to it.
Right. So you're getting that money as that's your part of it, right? Like you're dealing with the stress, you're dealing with the bills, you're dealing with the promotion, you're dealing with, maybe if you're in a shop that has multiple artists, being the referee.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we all know that there's plenty of shops out there where guys, there's plenty of shops out there where people all the crew gets along great, but there's plenty of shops out there where some of the artists just downright do not like each other. So you got to be the referee too.
So when I bought my first shop, right, I was there every day from open to close. I felt so lucky and so blessed that I had gotten this tattoo shop, that it was like my baby. So I decided I'm going to take a day off, right? And I take the day off, and I come in the next day, and this is what has transpired on my first day off. One of the artists had picked up a woman in the club the night before, brought her to the tattoo shop, where she had proceeded to borrow another artist's car, and then just left and didn't come back. So I come back to these two guys at each other's throats. And the one guy's like, I don't know, I just brought her here. The other guy's like, she has my fucking car. I don't know where it is. And I thought, man, you can't leave these guys unsupervised for a second,
So then at that point too, right? So now you're talking about doing that, being the referee, right?
And the one guy's like, I'm going to call the cops about my car. And I'm like, dude, the whole point of this tattoo shop is, being an above board, I don't want the cops here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we eventually got the car back,
right, but
it was just, I thought, man, you can't leave these kids alone for a second.
So then, let's add just a whole nother layer to this, right? So then if you, as the owner, want to take a day off, you essentially would have to have a shop manager. So that's somebody else you got to pay.
Yep.
That is essentially, it could be not even an artist, right? It's just managing the shop.
Yeah, looking after a floor person.
Right. So that's somebody that you got to pay that's not even bringing money into the shop.
I mean, I've been in shops where actually the floor person made the sale, and the artist just did the work. So, I might be working and have 2 or 3 stencils lined up for my next 2 or 3 tattoos.
Right.
And I'm not even leaving the booth. I'm like tattooing, breaking down, setting up. Tattooing, breaking down, setting up.
Right. All right, so we have more bullet points on this that we'll get into later. I think I want to leave it at that, so this way we could not only have people in chat, but people could actually make comments after this airs, and we could try to open up some discussion. We're hoping obviously that as we go through this every Sunday, we start to get more and more viewers, and it turns into like a cool, discussion thing that happens on a regular basis in chat and whatnot. Gibby said shop drama, seen quite a bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure you have, buddy.
Absolutely.
Gibby works by himself, man. I mean, I know he's actually right now searching for artists to come in and work for him. But so let's give a couple updates on some of the stuff that we got going on and some stuff that's upcoming over the next couple months. I know some of this is a little bit far out, but I think it's worth bringing up now so people maybe that aren't from the area or whatever that want to see it can make plans. But like the upcoming New York City TatCon, it's going to be July 26th, 27th, and 28th at Terminal 5 in New York City. There is a whole slew of invite-only artists that are going to be there. So we are talking about some of the best tattoo artists in the United States and let's say world, because there are people from other countries that are going to be there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, sorry, I'm trying not to cough in my mic, but so that is in July 26th, 27th, and 28th at Terminal 5 in New York City. The New York City TatCon is coming up.
So, from my understanding of it, and don't quote me on this, the convention is sort of the brainchild of Civ from Lotus Tattoo, super respected tattooer, lots of experience in the industry. People my age might remember him from a band called Gorilla Biscuits.
Oh, wow. Okay.
One of the most influential hardcore bands of all time. But yeah, so having a guy like that at the helm of the convention is going to guarantee the quality of the artists that are involved.
So we were told that information today, not 100% that he's the guy, but he seems to be the guy calling people to
yes.
to get, okay. So, the other one that I wanted to bring up today, and again, it's far out, it's October, but I think it's worth mentioning, is the Norfolk Tattoo Expo, October 17th through 20th at the Northfield Waterside Hotel in Norfolk, Virginia. Another one of those heavy hitter conventions where it's a lot of old school, big name guys that are going to be there, man. Like I just look at the list on a daily and I'm like, man, this is going to be sweet, dude. I can't wait to go to that. So I know that Justin and I will definitely be at the New York City show. So if anybody's out there watching and they happen to go and you see us, make sure you stop, say what's up, introduce yourself. I'll have some stickers on me and stuff like that. So would love to interact and say hi to some people out there that I don't know personally. So that'd be awesome. I think it'd be great.
So, and then we found out today that next weekend, the 22nd, the 23rd, and the 24th, right outside of Allentown, PA, there's going to be the Lehigh Valley Tattoo Convention, Skin Industry Tattoo Expo.
Right.
And,
so that's close to Philly, close to New York City. So that's pretty centralized for a majority of the tri-state area.
Yeah. And I was looking at the artist list, and I didn't see a lot of names that I recognized, but the examples of the art were top notch, man, exceptional.
Which is cool, man, right? I mean, that's how this whole channel started. Was there's plenty of guys, girls out there that are tattoo artists that a lot of people don't know about and need to be brought into, the picture or have a little bit of light shined on them.
Absolutely.
Not everybody is going to be the next Don Hardy or Lyle Tuttle or whatever. I mean, there's people, I know I said it, but excuse me. There are people out there that are phenomenal tattoo artists that a lot of people don't know about. So always got to check out different shows or channels like this to, try to promote. Just saying.
And
throwing
really,
it out there.
Really as a tattooed person, because I've been getting tattooed longer than I've actually been tattooing. That's sort of where you want to find the guy. You want to find the talented guy before he breaks. When he's still, obscure enough and humble enough that you don't have to wait 3.5 years and pay $400 an hour to get tattooed by him.
Yeah, dude. I'm sorry, man.
I mean,
I love tattoos, man.
That's not a cheap shot at anybody. That's
no. It's no cheap shot, but I'm just saying, man, I cannot see spending that kind of money an hour to get a tattoo.
Nope.
Me personally, man. I mean, hey, if you're out there and you can afford it, God bless you, dude. Me personally, there's plenty of artists out there that are charging nowhere near that are doing equally, if not better work. So just need to look, man. There's plenty of good artists out there. Quick update on our subscriber contest that we're trying to do. So we're trying to do a contest for the first 1,000 subscribers. I don't know how I'm going to do this yet because I realized yesterday when I was writing my notes out for the show that not everybody's name shows up as a subscriber because there are people out there, I guess, that hide who they subscribe to, which is fine. That's cool. I'm not asking you for that. But the whole point is I'm trying to do this for, our subscribers. I want to give away a $250 gift certificate once we hit 1,000 subscribers to one of the artists that are featured on the show. Because what I'd like to do is personally hand you that cash or gift certificate, whatever it is. But then I also want to film it as a cool little piece for the show. Hey, this is our winner. This is a cool tattoo they got. This is the artist that did this tattoo. I think it'd be just awesome. For the people outside our area, because I know we have people that subscribe to the channel that are from different countries. I mean, we had Ohm last week who was from Spain, right? Yeah. So I know I have people from Spain. I know I have people from Mexico. I know I have people from Germany. what we're going to do for those, if they happen to be one of the people that gets drawn, we'll send you a Tattoos and Review t-shirt and a sticker or something. So it's don't think that just because you're not from the area and you can't take part in the tattoo thing that you can't make out. You know, so I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. I'm going to maybe try to have everybody email me or whatever, and then I'll give everybody a number, and I want to do the cool little spin thing that you do live on screen so that nobody sees it's no shenanigans. Perfect time to say shenanigans because today's St. Patrick's Day, but yeah, so we want to give back to our subscribers. So just so you know, didn't forget about anybody that happened to maybe sign up when they saw the first one before we even hit 250 subscribers. But we are inching closer to that 1,000 subscriber mark. So hopefully we get to take part in that soon. That would be awesome. All right, so let's get back into some of this stuff. I think instead of going back into the trying to bridge the gap thing, man, let's just have fun, dude. Let's just shoot the shit and have fun. I think we're trying to be too serious, dude, and we're not fucking serious people. Sorry. Excuse my French. But anybody out there that's watching right now wants to ask a question in chat, wants to throw a tattoo artist question or a creator question, feel free, man. How do you manicure your goatee? How did you get so fat? Whatever, I'm willing to answer. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm comfortable with me being a fat ass. I mean, hey, it is what it is. I'm trying to lose weight. My mama says I'm husky.
I guess I'm big boned. Not to touch upon that again, but
okay.
I think
way to unsteer the ship, dude.
We're just trying to stay out of this bullshit sort of controversy.
Yeah, man. I don't want to get involved in that.
Yeah,
dude.
I don't want to take sides with that. You know what I mean?
Nah, man. I got dude. Because to be honest with you, man, I feel like I got people on both sides of the thing here, and I respect them equally, and I just don't want to get involved. I think it would be cooler if we could bridge it and have some cool conversations around it.
So today we were talking to a tattooer.
Later, Gibby. Sorry, I missed that, man.
Who was a bank robber. Who robbed banks.
Yes, he did.
He robbed banks. And I got to say that I really like that.
You respected the fact that he chose that as
I really,
he gave him a little bit of edge.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, look, dude, whether it was he got that from the personality that got him to that point, or if he got that from serving time after he got pinched.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, dude, the whole prison thing is, like I've been watching some other channels where they've been talking about Danny Masterson from the 70s show getting his cheeks clapped in prison. Woo! Yeah, man.
Yeah, they don't really.
Does not look like it's good things for him, man. But I was actually, all kidding aside, I was watching another creator on that does a lot of mafia stuff, and he was talking about how it was for those guys when they're in prison, and he said, man, it was good. It wasn't Goodfellas good, but it was good. He was like, we had guys that worked in the kitchen and hooked us up and stuff like that, but it wasn't like, the guy making steaks and, had prosciutto and all that, in a cooler. But I'm sure there were guys out there that had that, but, I don't know how the hell we got on the subject, dude. Oh, because of, never mind.
The bank.
Yeah. So, hey, man, there's plenty of different people that had career paths that got them into tattooing.
So part of the thing with the history, is that they were characters, man. That's like when I think about what really drew me to tattooing in the beginning was the fact that they were just interesting fucking people that had interesting stories and had lived crazy, wild lives.
Dude, yeah. And you know what, man? I did the episode on Burt Grimm. And as soon as you said it, that was like the first person that came to mind. Now, granted, I didn't know a lot of that prior to doing the research on that. I had heard maybe some stories here and there, but dude, like, he was a carnival dude, and then got into tattooing, and then wound up actually doing an apprenticeship under some different people to get better. But then, like, having, and I don't know if they're true or not. I don't think anybody knows except for Bert and the people that he tattooed, but Bonnie and Clyde and Pretty Boy Floyd, and I mean the Pretty Boy Floyd thing.
Pretty Boy Floyd did have a Rose in No Man's Land.
Dude, that was pretty convincing, man. I mean, I don't know, dude. I gotta almost chalk that one up to being true.
So like today we learned a thing about Bert Grimm that I didn't know. That apparently as he got older he lost his hearing, and so because these older guys they didn't have digital rheostats. Like they looked for a sound with their tattoo machine. That meant the machine was running smoothly.
Right.
And apparently Bert just turned his machine up and up and up and up the older that he got. You know what I mean? Because he couldn't hear it anymore.
To the point where the guy that was telling the story today said that he got so bad that he was actually tattooing a female, and she reached over and turned it down because she was like, dude, you're killing me.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think one of the things I had heard today was that Bert was actually tattooing off of car batteries. There used to be
Jesus.
Used to be able to if I look through my stuff I can probably find it. It was like a plate that had the rheostat built into it, and you could plug it to a car battery, and however the electricity would be converted. And it was for basically mobile tattooing.
Wow.
And yeah.
Dude, I heard that story and I had flashbacks of me getting my leg done by the apprentice. And I thought to myself, man, I can't even fathom, dude.
Just turn it up.
That guy was like, he felt like he was scooping chunks of skin out with a freaking spoon, dude. It hurt so bad. I was like, man. That was so bad that I weeped color for a week. So we've all, if you're watching this, I'm going to assume you've had tattoos. Otherwise, I don't know why the hell you're watching this right now. But we all
dead
had
sexy, bro.
Nobody's watching this for our looks, and if you are, I don't know what's wrong with you. But so you get tattooed, you get a little bit of weepage or whatever, and it is what it is, right? Have you ever gotten a tattoo where you wept globs of color out days later?
Maybe.
Yeah?
Maybe. I don't know.
Dude, every time I tell somebody that's a tattoo artist that story, they cringe and they're like, oh my God. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Obviously, that's not normal. I knew it wasn't normal immediately.
Right.
Like, I was nowhere near into the tattoo scene as much as I am right now. And even back then, I went, that's not right. So, as far as the pain goes, I was like, oh, it's a new spot for me. I've never been tattooed on the back of my leg, so maybe. And then as you wept color, I went, yeah, that's definitely not good. So,
so when I was first getting tattooed, I got this dragon. You probably can't see that in the mess that's my sleeve, but it had purple in the face. And the summer that after I got it, I was working as a landscaper. And don't do this at home, but of course I didn't put sunscreen on it because I didn't have any sense.
Yeah.
I was 17, and the purple in the dragon's face actually blistered up and broke open because I got a sunburn. And it was just, yeah. That's probably the worst reaction I've ever had from tattooing.
Man, you always hear about people getting, raised, like they get a reaction to, like, green or blue, or maybe I've heard people say red.
Red, yeah.
Where you get to raised up or whatever from the tattoo, and it's an allergic reaction or whatever. When I got this face done. Now, obviously, I got some road rash from going down on my Harley, but there's a spot here on the face where when I got it done, it was in, no, you're not gonna be able to see it, never mind. But I was in Arizona when I got it, and I globbed on sunscreen knowing that I had to put stuff on it. But I put way too much on there. And I was riding around in Arizona with my arm out the window, and I got this blister right there on the face where you can see where it's actually like a lighter color. Same thing, where it was like it got cooked from too much fluid. Pudge, the shop dog, is she's begging for pets.
Yeah, she's bougie. She's not getting enough attention.
But
she's not getting enough love.
Super important, folks. Moral of the story is, if you're getting tattoos, take care of them. Cover them if you can with clothing. If you can't cover them with clothing, put sunscreen on. It's a must. Especially, you know what? If you're spending all that money on tattoos, dude, SPF 50 should be the minimum that you're throwing on your tattoos, dude. I would get so bad at one point of putting it on that I would have this white ring around my tattoos because I would like go past it just because I was being like super paranoid. I'd be bright red, and then I'd have this white outline around it because I just kept.
Absolutely,
dude. But you know what? Especially with riding, dude, it's tough, man. There's times where I'm like, man, I'm getting burnt. So like, I don't understand. It's a good segue. I love some of the black work that's being done, especially by like Black Vulture and stuff like that. But I look at that sometimes and I go, man, that's gotta freaking bake in the sun. I know like now we're like, certain colors or whatever, like if I'm in the sun, it feels like it's just cooking me. So I can't imagine being like a giant black patch or your whole arm being black, like how that's gotta feel in the summertime, man.
So what we're talking about is there's a Philly tattoo artist named Hoodie. And Hoodie's putting on these like blackout sleeves, blackout torso work. I mean, huge areas. And really, it's like shout out to Hoodie, man. It's like so smooth
and saturated, perfect.
And saturated, and we used to talk about like it being like satiny, like satin.
Yeah.
And it's something to do also with like the Japanese bodysuits. Right, basic biology says that more bodily waste is expelled through your skin than any other organ.
Right,
and when you cover your skin like with fully concentrated ink and leave no area untattooed, it does affect you. It affects you physically.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. It interferes with the ability of the skin to eliminate waste.
So what's the
So the Japanese that get tattooed say that large covering tattoos they limit life, but they improve life at the same time.
What was the guy's name that was covered like every inch of his missing link or something like that?
Well, there's been a couple of them.
Is that who I'm thinking of?
Yeah, there's been a couple guys like that. There was Enigma, who was covered in the puzzle pieces. There was Mike Wilson out of New York, who was a sideshow guy. Lucky Diamond Rich was covered almost fully in black and then had white tattoos put into the black. He was another sideshow guy. And then there's the guys, like
the great Omi.
Omi.
Yeah, but see, even with Omi, though, like, he still had some spots that weren't filled in, though, right?
And then I see guys online that I don't necessarily know who they are, but I mean, their whole everything's tattooed.
Man, that's commitment, dude. That is commitment. I can't even imagine. It's like some of the, like, you see some of those spots where they're getting tattooed, man, and I'm just like, man, that's gotta be rough. Or I don't. They're not. I've since been told that they're not being tattooed, but they're like injecting the ink in their eye.
Yes.
So it's no longer no longer have a white in your eye. It's your pupil, your whatever the ring is, I forget, but and then it's, whatever color they pick. I've been told it's not tattooed; it's actually injected, though.
So years ago at the Roseland conventions in New York, there used to be
Couple.
the couple,
Yeah.
Theo and Elizabeth, and they were both older. I think they were probably in their 50s, maybe 60s at the time. Both extensively covered, fully bodysuited, fully pierced, and they were both very, very good about just showing you everything.
Yeah,
right
man.
on the right on the convention floor.
Just dropping trout.
Yeah, you'd walk in and there's Theo, naked as the day he was born, and Elizabeth right next to him. People taking pictures of all their work. They were not shy.
Well, man, the I don't know if we have anybody out there who wants to ask any questions or throw anything out in chat. If not, hold on to it for next time. But man, I think it was a pretty cool show today. I think we got some hot topics that we're gonna bring up, and I think that we have some really cool stuff coming up that we're gonna continue the conversation about trying to bridge that gap between the two camps and try to make it a little bit more constructive criticism, or not criticism, but constructive conversation, just so we can maybe start that and see what we can do about bridging that gap, and try to get everybody to be, there needs to be more camaraderie with the tattooing, man. And a lot of the older heads used to talk about how much the camaraderie was there. Maybe it was based out of the camps or whatever that were out there, but there was some kind of camaraderie.
I mean, we were talking to a guy today. I think it was Richie Montgomery, and Richie was talking about the first national convention for I forget what it was called, the National Tattoo Association or something like that. I forget what it was, but he was saying it was in the 70s and it was in Denver, and
Thanks, Jess.
barely anybody.
Thank you.
Barely anybody there. Everybody knows everybody else.
Right.
Everybody can recognize everybody else's work. And I'm sure that there were beefs. I'm sure that, tattooers being tattooers. But I think there was probably also a lot of mutual respect in a sense that, we're the tattooed. All of us. We're the tattooed.
Doesn't matter if you got traditional, neo-traditional, realism,
No.
whatever.
And that should be common ground. At least I know it sounds corny,
Yeah, no, man, I
but
agree with you, dude.
it should be common ground. I remember a time when if I saw you in public, I might not have seen a tattooed person for a couple weeks at a time, and I'd be like, "Yo, where you get your stuff?" You know? And it, there was more camaraderie than there is now.
Yeah, those days are over, man. Everybody seems to be tattooed these days.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome, man. Thank you for anybody that stopped by today and joined us. Feel free, if you're seeing this, to make comments. This will be up almost immediately after we finish tonight. Let's have some discussions, man. Let's talk about it. And appreciate all of you out there. I appreciate all my subscribers, man. I can't thank you guys enough. I can't do this without you. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it. And I hope you all have a great week. And we will see you all next Sunday.
See you later from Endsville Tattoo.
Peace.